What is up, everybody? This is William Tiller. I am joined by my main man, Patrick Morrison, and tonight we are live with the East Coast Modified Tour. We're taking on everybody's old school, favorite old school track here in North Wilkesboro. And Patrick, we know the deal here in the East Coast Modified Tour. It is the Kaden Tufts show here in this league. Do you think he'll get it done again here tonight?
Well, knowing how Nathan Bryant feels about him right now, he wants to go ahead and put Kaden Tufts in his rearview mirror. Jeffrey Clifton had a really good run on Friday, so I don't think Kaden Tufts is really going to be the one we're going to keep an eye out for 100% of the time. But I think those are definitely going to be your top three tonight here, Will.
Definitely. Patrick, as we're taking a look at qualifying here at North Wilkesboro, Patrick, we only have 3 races left here in the season. Even though Kaden has dominated the league here so far, it is still a close points race here towards the end with the guy you just mentioned there, Jeff Clifton, right on his tail. We saw a few other people give him a run for his money here in the East Coast Modified Tour, one of which was Edward Marshall in that Ford machine. Actually picked up a win, knocked him off the totem pole there. We had Daniel Rowe win the road course here in this league as well, so keep an eye out for that here tonight, folks. A few other names to look out for other than Kaden Tufts. But, Patrick, I know everybody loves this track. They're excited to see it being revamped here, and maybe NASCAR will come back to it. I know the race earlier in the Worldwide Technology Speedway, whatever, that race was so confusing to me because it was in St. Louis, but it was the Illinois 400 or something, Patrick. But here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, what makes this track so much different and so appealing to everybody?
It's an older track. It's really worn in. I mean, you've got guys race on here for years. A lot of your top NASCAR guys started here for years, and a lot of the nostalgia here you have in North Wilkesboro, just between the banking, the old school asphalt track that you're trying to battle around here, and multiple grooves. So a lot of the guys in these open wheeled vehicles and a lot of your smaller late models and your super late models run here, and a lot of people get really excited about this. I mean, this is a lot of places where you actually get your foot in the door. People come here and they notice you. Multiple broadcasting teams here, such as ourselves, we're here watching open wheeled and seeing how these guys can get around. As we see Edward Marshall, man, get there. Let's see if he gets a squeeze there any closer. Nah, I think 17.381 is probably going to be his fastest time, which will put him in the 7th position. But yeah, I mean, North Wilkesboro is just between it being such a legacy track, it really gets everybody excited about showing up here, Will.
Legacy track indeed. As we're taking a look at qualifying here, folks, looks like Ken Zeems is #1 on the chart so far here. He's got the fastest speed on the track above Kaden Tufts there, but not by much there, folks, by just a couple tenths of a second. Right now, Kaden Tufts is going to start off P2, Nathan Bryant P3, Jacob Tormund currently qualified 4th, Jeff Clifton, the guy you mentioned there, is currently qualified 5th, Brad Carpenter right now in the 6th position. Edward Marshall just ran that lap we just saw there, qualified P7. Jerry Mitchell right now in P8. Miles Morse in P9. And Michael Newton is P10. Currently, folks, in qualifying, we still have a long way to go here. Patrick is going to be 75 laps around this speedway here tonight. And if we know anything about the East Coast Modified Tour, we know it's going to come down to the last couple laps.
Yeah, and then that it is. I mean, it's such a difficult way to kind of look at a track like this. I mean, you have between the multiple grooves and multiple experience of these drivers out here. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a pull away for any driver, and I think we're going to have a battle. I think at least four drivers there, in the last 15 to 20 laps. It's really going to be really a brawl. These cars get up to a lot of speed really fast, and being able to really kind of capitalize on this is going to be not just a feat in itself, but between the other drivers, how and where you place yourself tonight is really going to kind of set the tempo for everybody else, for the rest of the season coming up.
Indeed, Patrick. But as the cars are gridding up, we await that green flag drop. We'll go stop in with those wonderful sponsors here in the East Coast Modified Tour. We'll be right back for the drop of the green flag. And here we go, folks. We are back here at North Wilkesboro. That pace car is off the field, and here we go. We're going to go green, 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 green flag racing here at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
All right, and this is beginning of Heat 1, so these guys are going to run about 12 laps, kind of get heated up, figure out how they're going to place up in the final feature, and then we'll be to the main event of 75 laps after that. As you can see, Nathan Bryant going ahead and taking that early lead in front of Jeff Clifton. Oh, man, as Clifton gets just a little loose. Boy, good time to shake off and get those butterflies out of your stomach here, Will.
Oh, yeah. He is definitely one of those drivers to watch out for here tonight. He's got who's who behind him in this field here tonight right now. Got 11 cars racing in this heat, in heat number 1. We got 11 laps around North Wilkesboro. Nathan Bryant's currently leading the way. Jeff Clifton, the guy to watch out for. He won the Friday Night League here in the Eastern Late Model Series. In second place, you got Jacob Tormund, a guy I'm always pulling for week in, week out. Always seems to get tied up in unfortunate events. In the third position currently, and a winner on the tour of Edward Marshall in the 4-car in the fourth position. And Brad Carpenter, that's another name to watch out for. A lot of these guys really give it their all week in and week out. They just don't have the finishes to show for it.
Yeah, and back to Jacob Tormund. Yeah, he does get caught up in a lot of things, and I know he's looking forward to kind of staying out of trouble and really getting around here. But yeah, hey, with Brad Carpenter, and Edward Marshall being behind him, it's not just the guys in front of him he's got to be worried about. These guys in the that are right behind him are looking to push even harder to get in front of him. So he's kind of squeezed in the middle here. Taking a quick look.
You see right now they're filed out just a little bit here, Patrick, and as we're watching heat number 1, we are past the halfway mark here. It's still Nathan Bryant up there. Jeff Clifton looks like he's trying to make a move. Jeff's racing a blacked out car here tonight, Patrick. Maybe he's feeling a little bit more confident with that blacked out machine.
Yeah, honestly, when I drive, I have a little trouble actually seeing out of the windshield with the white hood. They do kind of look at it for glare of the sun, and man, when you got a white hood on a windshield or something like that, man, I can hardly see out of the windshield. So he may be going blacked out and getting a little more serious here tonight. Yeah, it's Nathan Bryant looking real good. I mean, real solid, running a decent line. Jeff Clifton hanging out there in the back. Jacob Tormund hanging out in the third. So, yeah, these your top 3 drivers here. I mean, no issues, no scuffles yet, but man, they just gotta kind of keep it together here. But just as I say that, it looks like Clifton's starting to try to get a little bit of run on Nathan Bryant here. Going ahead and getting a good push, diving into 3. And he might, yeah, there we go, get a good exit, try to get out of 4 and set him up for this next turn. So I think he's about to have his hands full here in just a second with only about 2 laps to go.
Yeah, he's right on the back bumper of Nathan Bryant right now, folks, as they're careening around turn 3 and 4 right now. They're going to take that white flag here in heat number 1, but it's going to be a 2-car shootout here. As you see, Jeff Clifton's going to try to the inside lane there. He's going to think about it just for a split second. Nathan Bryant's going to hold him off there. They are side by side. Nope, Jeff Clifton follows right behind him as they go down into 3. Jeff Clifton's going to try the inside lane there once again. He's going to keep it clean, though, as Nathan Bryant's going to take heat number 1 here in the East Coast Modified Tour.
Man, and if this is just one heat, you got to question. I mean, what we're looking at for the following, for the feature presentation. I mean, these guys are really going to kind of be sticking to it here. I'm excited, man. I can't think about what else would be better than this. I mean, Ken Zeems, I haven't seen much of him lately, but he did come out here and put down a solid time on the track. So he's going to be the one to beat. Everybody kind of having their eyes on them. So I like seeing Ken Zeems and Kaden Tufts here. Nathan Bryant and Jeff Clifton are your top 4. This is going to be the shootout. Like I said, this is. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm excited about this one.
Oh, me as well, Patrick. As we have, we're running a little bit of a warm-up right now. We're watching the 57 machine take the track right now to get warmed up for the main event here. And as we take a little break to hear from those sponsors, once again, we'll be right back to give you that feature action here in the East Coast Modified Tour.
Alrighty, and we are back. We're taking a quick look here at Nathan Bryant. Man, he is definitely wanting to take as much of these warm-ups as he can. He'll be running almost, by the end of this, almost 200 laps. But he's definitely trying to make sure he gets plenty of practice in. He's going to have his hands full with the two guys in front of him between Kaden Tufts and Ken Zeems. So it's nice to see him, staying in a solid top 5. But, man, he has his work cut out for him tonight, Will.
He really does, but he came the closest to knocking Kaden Tufts off his totem pole here in the East Coast Modified Tour. I don't believe it was in this series, Patrick. I believe it was on Tuesday night, but he has the guy that's coming the closest here. In that race that we saw in the Virtual Racing Association, he did his homework throughout the race, and you'll see it here tonight, folks. Jeff Clifton will do the same thing. You start figuring out when your opponent does those restarts. You start figuring out the lines that your opponent's running. You start figuring out timing, all that good stuff. And then when those closing laps start to come in, you know exactly what to do. And we saw it on a Tuesday night race in the Virtual Racing Association. Once he started to time everything perfect with Kaden, he basically raced him the last 5 laps or so in that race. And that finish was .001. So I can only imagine now we're 10 races into the season here. These guys are starting to figure out that Da Vinci code that is Kaden Tufts. And they're starting to, okay, so we got his timing down. We know when he's going to jump the restarts. We know what lines he's going to run. I feel like tonight, Patrick, if a few of these guys can get ahead of Kaden, it's going to slam the door on him here tonight, because I feel like what these guys want to do is they just want to beat Kaden on the track.
Yeah, and with Nathan Bryant, he even said he set one of his profile pictures to that finish. So he is, as I guess some people say, still a little salty about that one. He dwells over this one and is using it for the best, to kind of get himself prepped, get his head in the game, and now he knows what he has to put out there. That Kaden Tufts isn't going to lift, that gas pedal an inch to give him an inch. It's not going to happen. He wants to run you as hard as absolutely possible. So, and Nathan Bryant knows that, and he's going to give it to him just as well.
Indeed, and those guys that give it justice are definitely the folks over at Stay Tuned Sports Podcast. Man, Patrick, if there's ever a time to tune into those boys over there at Stay Tuned Sports, it's right now. You got the NBA Finals going on. You just had the Coca-Cola 600 last week. You had a race this week. You had the Indy 500 last week as well. A lot of UFC events coming up. It's summertime baseball right now. Hockey's almost going into the finals there. A lot of things to discuss in the sports world. Go check out Stay Tuned Sports Podcast over on Facebook as well as Podbeam. Go join Jimbo and the boys over there as they tackle everything that's going on in sports right now. And football is about to start up. Patrick, we're only 90 days away from football. Can you believe it?
Yeah. I'm I have to say, I'm not much of a football fan, now that Peyton Manning went ahead and retired, but I'm more into the hockey now. So right now, the Avalanche are looking real good for that Stanley Cup, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, and the Lightning survived going down 3-0 here tonight, and they're trying for a three-peat. So definitely go check out the boys over there at Stay Tuned Sports Podcast to get all that information that's going on right now. But here we go, folks. We're going to have 75 laps here in the Stay Tuned Sports 70 live from North Wilkesboro. As you see, that pace truck is still on the track here. We're going to have one more lap around the track, but what a front row we have here, Patrick. Man, I'm giddy for this race here tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. You might be giddy. I'm itchy. I don't know if it's the poison ivy or just these guys lining up to really, lay down 75 solid laps. This is going to be something. Like I said, your top 5 right here are really, from what I've seen so far, are the best in the business. So these guys are going to lay it down here at this legacy track where so many drivers have come from and raced before. They're going to see who can come out on top here after 75.
Here we go. That pace truck is about to peel off the field here. It's going to be Ken Zeems and Kaden Tufts going drag race into the start-finish line. We're green here in the Stay Tuned Sports 75, live from North Wilkesboro. You see Kaden Tufts is on the outside lane there. Usually he's starting from the inside there, but really on the back corner of Ken Zeems there as they go around 3 and 4. They're still side by side here, folks. It's hard to differentiate which car is which. They're rocking the same paint schemes there, Patrick. Doesn't matter right now as they are still side by side here around the corners. Got Nathan Bryant just watching the show right there in third position. He's going to go to the outside. You see Kaden Tufts, I believe, has overtaken Ken Zeems right there for the lead. He's really loose out of 4.
Oh, yeah. Kaden Tufts took that at a very aggressive line, trying to dive down in front of him, but he's trying to use that high side to his advantage, really kind of sling off that turn, get out in front of him, be able to make that cut to the inside. But Ken Zeems definitely getting close with that rear bumper, letting him know, I don't appreciate you cutting in front of me. Nathan Bryant, man, he sees an opening, but he's just starting to get jammed up. He's got a little bit of time, kind of work his way around him, kind of pick and choose. But Jeff Clifton isn't going to wait either, as he's sitting back there in the 4th position.
And Kenton Zeems did all he could to try to keep Kaden away from the lead, tried to drag race him, try to get in that corner panel. Kaden got loose off of 4 there just a few laps ago, but it just wasn't enough to keep Kaden out of that clean air up there. He's trying to stay in that clean air like he does up in Canada, but he is keeping Ken Zeems right off his back bumper, but now Ken has some competition right on his back bumper as well, and Nathan Bryant's trying to get around him. You see Jeff Clifton has worked his way up through the field as well. Man, a lot of powerhouse hitters here tonight, Patrick. This is the heavyweight champions here in the modifieds, all up here in the lead.
Yeah, and it's great seeing how they're really kind of pushing each other to the extremes. And we'll have to see if the cars can handle it. You know, a lot of guys, you know, they always ask for more power, more traction, more of this. I think they might overdrive these cars here a little bit. As you see, Nathan Bryant always has a great turn entry, but man, Ken Zeems makes him check up. That way he has to kind of work around him, and he's not going to give him the line that Nathan Bryant wants. So yeah, a little difficulty, and might require some strategy here to kind of get around him.
Yeah, it's really only that inside lane that you can make a pass there, Patrick. We see a couple guys trying to stick their nose right there to the inside. The high side is going to be really difficult to try to make a pass, but you see Nathan Bryant's going to try that high side here on the exit of the corner. So he's going to get squeezed. He's going to keep trying that position, but he's going to get squeezed if he keeps trying that top side, because you see the cars are going to drift out to that top side on the exit of the corners here. So if you try that top side to pass in the corner, you're going to get squeezed on that wall. And with these open-wheeled modifieds, you skirt that wall just a little bit, you're going to have damage to that race car.
Yeah, and it'd be kind of interesting to see if Nathan Bryant, you know, if he wants to kind of take, you know, take that high side the way, man, as he gets just around him, just said that, is taking the high side the same way as Kaden Tufts did. Right now, I believe they're both kind of joined up in the Bryant Racing Discord screen, trying to kind of work with each other instead of against each other. But, you know, in the final 10 laps, I don't think that's really going to matter, as Ken Zeems marches back there to the 3rd position. Kind of dials it back, and he's kind of having to sit back there and wait, but Jeff Clifton isn't going to wait too much longer, and he's going to push his will upon him as well. So these two guys, you know, really giving it a good shove here. Zeems is kind of working his way back. Had a good qualifying lap, but he's having a little bit of trouble with this car there, Will.
Yeah, having a little bit of trouble there, Patch, but one thing I'm noticing is that you want to try to stick those wheels to the white line there.
Oh, boy.
Oh, watch out! Oh, no! I was just about to say watch out as they came up on a lapped car there. Nathan Bryant makes contact with the lap car. Edward Marshall gets T-boned as well right there at the start-finish line. We have our first caution on the track here tonight. Wow. We'll have to rev up that 10-4 broadcasting replay to see exactly what happened there. We saw them coming up on that lapped car.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was almost stunned at that point. I was really hoping that wasn't what I saw coming, because that was unfortunate. I did slide to the front for us to take a look at the leaders, because I saw some lap traffic was going to have to come around, and it looked like Nathan Bryant just ran out of real estate, and I think he either came off that turn really, really hot on that turn, and then he just ran out of real estate. He's trying to, you know, where he's supposed to swing up and end up, he didn't have enough there. Let's see if we can go ahead and kind of
see what happened there.
Yeah, cockpit view here. We'll give it to you full speed here. As you see, kind of works. Bam! There's nowhere to go.
Right there. And Patrick, I'm trying to see who that was in that lapped car. I think it might have been Michael Newton.
I think so.
And we saw Michael on the exit. If we could look at that replay just one more time there.
Yep.
He was really loose on the exit of the corner. It looked like his race car was wiggling and waggling a little bit. If you watch here, you'll see that the 9 comes into point of view here as they come around 4.
Yep, so we dive into 3. And you kind of see Normal right here.
Right there, he's wiggling on the exit, so he's already really loose. And just didn't see Nathan Bryant to his inside there as he was getting loose on the racetrack. And folks, with these open-wheeled race cars, it doesn't take much. All you have to do is barely tap tires, and you're getting tangled up with one another. But you hate to see it because Nathan Bryant was up there really giving it his all here tonight.
Yeah, and that took out a lot of your top drivers there. Nathan Bryant got caught up in that. Ken Zeems got caught up in that, and I believe Marshall in that 4-car got caught up in that. So these guys are going to be a little on edge now. We're not real happy about that one. As yeah, I'm not sure. That was an unfortunate event. I mean, maybe some guys will take some tires, get a good repair here and get back on the track. But man, it's just lap traffic has places to be, and I don't think that was it.
Yeah, as you see, looking at that grid there, you see Ken Zeems is a few laps down. Evan Burke is a few laps down as well. Edward Marshall is now a lap down. And these are the guys that were just racing in the top 5 not but a few laps ago, Patrick.
Yeah, really gonna have some trouble here. You see they are starting in the back. We'll have to see after everybody kind of shuffles up here and gets side by side where everybody ended up. I mean, we're kind of Nathan Bryant here in the back, man. It's just, man, Carpenter. Yeah, we got Marshall here in the back.
Like they were able to get those laps back there, Patrick. They were back on the lead lap here, looking at that grid. You see Edward Marshall up there.
Yeah.
Brad Carpenter, Nathan Bryant, Michael Newton is a lap down, Evan Burke is a lap down, and Ken Zeems is now at the bottom of the grid.
Yeah.
A couple laps down as well.
Yeah, he took it to the garage. I think that may have totaled his car. We did see him ricochet off the wall there about 3 or 4 times, so heartbreaking turn of events there.
We are back Green Flag Racing here, though, folks, in the Stay Tuned Sports 75 here live from north of Wilkesboro as Kaden Tufts again has those rocket restarts here, Patrick. Oh, man, they're so tight on the exit of 4.
Oh, yeah, and now somebody we don't talk about a lot is Miles Morse here, hanging out in the 4th position. I mean, really kind of having to force his will and squeeze in front of Jeffrey Clifton. But Jeffrey, taking a good time, staying calm, is using that veteran experience he has to just go ahead and give up the spot. We got 55 laps to go, I think, somewhere around there, and it ain't worth it right now. We're not in the closing moments. There's still plenty of mishaps that could happen, and there's no sense in causing one.
Oh no, I saw it happening. Oh no, I saw him come off before with so much speed. I saw him brush that wall. I was afraid he wasn't going to be able to slow that thing down there, and I was correct as he bounced off the wall there, Patrick.
Man, yeah. Jeffrey Clifton, you saw he definitely had to check up, make sure he wasn't going to ricochet off that wall. Some guys will hit it and bounce back off and then take you out at the same time. So, yeah, checked up, made sure he had it under control, and then slices around him. So, but now it's up to Marshall here, of Edward Marshall, to go ahead and work his way around him. As long as Miles Morse doesn't have any suspension damage, he should be okay.
Oh, man, I wish I was racing in this race here tonight, Patrick, because this seems like everybody is on edge. Everybody has that video game lean going on their simulators here tonight because everybody is itching for position here tonight, Patrick. I don't think there's gone a lap that's gone by that's been calm, cool, and collected. Everybody's trying to make passes. Everybody's trying to get around everybody. They're skirting up against the wall because they have so much speed on the exit of these corners. Everybody's just flying around this track here tonight.
Yeah, and they're really trying to kind of give or take right now. I mean, you see some drivers with a great turn entry, and then you've got some with great turn exit. And it's hard to find anybody that can master both except Kaden Tufts right now, who's really out front and kind of is able to do what he needs to do. I mean, we're taking a look here again at Jeffrey Clifton and Miles Morse. One has great pit entry, but is kind of really paying for it on the exit there. And it's just they're going to be careful because what you're going to do is start getting that seesaw effect of, they're going to squish together and spread apart, squish together and spread apart. As you can see right there, Jeff Clifton riding up the back of Jacob Tormund there. So these two have seen plenty of each other. They know how each other drive. So, oh boy, he almost rubbed him. Yeah. So they know what each other's limitations are, but losing is not an option tonight.
No, and Jeff Clifton right now is got. Ooh, watch out! Got another. I believe that's another lap car that's in the mix right there. Hopefully they stay high watch out from these cars that are coming here on the low side. See, Jacob Tormund's trying to have to swing out to the bottom. Jeff Clifton thought he could go high, and there goes Miles Morris right there. Oh, man, had to check up just a little bit there on the exit of 4.
Man, look at
and
this.
Jacob Tormund and Miles Morris, I would say, are in the same category as drivers that come out here every week, give it their all. They probably have the speed to compete with Kaden, to compete with Jeff, but always get tied up in these unfortunate events. They're drivers that we call out a lot here during the broadcast. Jacob Tormund, Miles Morris, they always just seem to get tangled up, usually towards the end of the race there, Patrick. They're usually racing top 5, top 3 sometimes, and they get tangled up, unfortunately, and that's just the result. And then when you look on paper, yeah, they might not have the finishes that puts them in the same category as a Kaden Tufts or Jeff Clifton, but definitely when you watch each race back, they're definitely names that compete on the track with them up until the last few laps. And there they go. They make contact. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. This race is wild here tonight. And there goes I believe that's Jacob Tormund or Miles Morris into the infield grass there. No caution on the track just yet. Jeff Clifton is still clean.
Man, yeah.
And there we go, folks.
Yeah, looks like Tormund got through that one. Jeff Clifton, yeah, was right sandwiched in the middle of that one. I'm going to go ahead and roll that back. Now let's take another peek at it. There we go. Let's see if we can get a Michelin chopper view here. All right, well, let's see what we got here. So we're taking a quick peek of Jeffrey Clifton there, right there in the middle of the 15. So you see one getting a little out of shape. Kind of bumps into the 57 because the 57 was sliding at the same time. One then catches Jeffrey Clifton, straightens him up. Yeah, everything seems fine and dandy here, but one gets back on the gas, spins around, and then 57 gets spun around too. Wow.
Man, and just as I was talking about how they always get tangled up in unfortunate incidences, we see the 1, and there goes the 15 of Jeff Clifton, like a Ross Chastain, just keeps it moving, keeps it grooving, and he's still back in the mix here in this race, and with that, he's going to move up into about the 3rd position there, Patrick, so right where he wants to be there in that 15 machine, but you see him head down pit road here. And I believe that was Evan Burke that was getting sideways there in that 57.
57 might be Mitchell, I believe. Jerry Mitchell?
Jeffrey Mitchell. Jerry Mitchell, excuse me.
Mitchell.
Yeah,
Jerry Mitchell. Yeah, Jerry Mitchell, Jeffrey Clifton. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I think something may have happened to Jerry Mitchell earlier in the race because we thought he was a lapped car. He was actually the guy in 2nd, so I don't know if he started having a mechanical problem or a massive amount of tire fall off trying to catch up to Kaden Tufts there. But yeah, he did slow down there a little bit right there when 4, 5, and 6 started catching up.
This race is absolutely wild, Patrick. From the start of lap 1 to now lap 25. It has been. That's probably why I got confused and wonder why I was a lap car or a 2nd place car, because these cars are flying around the track here tonight, and we've seen it. This track has eaten up drivers here, Patrick. It's a vintage track that everybody loves, but we're seeing, on the exit of 4, people have so much speed coming off that corner. You brush up against the wall. The only way to really make a pass here on this track is the inside lane. And to do that, Patrick, you have to put your nose out there. And when you do that, the other guy is going to try to come down and block you. And that's when you have incidences like we just saw.
Yeah, really kind of a bummer. I mean, we did have an eyeball out there for Ken Ziem. Fastest one on the track, but, man, got out after that wreck of with that lapped car of Michael Newton in the 16. He's only a lap down. But, he's still kind of chugging around here. I'm not sure if Ken Ziem's had massive mechanical failure, but Michael Newton's still out here. Miles Morris, he's now a lap down. But yeah, I think Jerry Mitchell, yeah, he's the last one. 7th place is on your lead lap right now, so definitely a shuffle up here in the front.
Here we go.
Exactly.
See if Kaden gets that rocket restart. He does once again, Patrick, as we're green flag racing here once again here in the Stay Tuned Sports 75. You see Kaden Tufts like he does always on those rocket restarts. He is all by himself once again. You see Jacob Tormund has worked his way up into the 2nd position there in that 31. Edward Marshall right there in the 4 as well. You see Brad Carpenter right on the outside of, I believe that is Nathan Bryant up there as well, racing up there to the inside of Brad Carpenter as they careen around turn number 2, heading towards turn number 3. They're still side by side, Nathan Bryant and Brad Carpenter right there. And Brad's really trying to itch for that win here tonight, Patrick. These drivers are running out of races to get their first win on the season. And Brad's another one of those drivers that I'd put in the same category as the Jacob Tormund and Miles Morris. Really gives it their all. He's won a couple of heat races here in the East Coast Modified Tour, but just doesn't have the results on paper to show of a successful season. But man, if you can get a win here at everybody's favorite track, that could really solidify yourself for next season here in the East Coast Modified Tour.
Yeah, and listen, taking a little peek over the radio, the crew chief is talking to Nathan Bryant, and he's kind of getting a little upset in that car. He is not where he wants to be. He told him, stay calm, keep cool. We still got a lot of race left to go, and then it just work. Let the race come to you. So Nathan Bryant really staying aggressive, but trying to be smart about it as he's moved his way up into the 3rd position.
And you see kind of a bad corner out of Jacob Tormund there. Lost a lot of speed. That's going to give Nathan Bryant the opportunity to creep up on that back corner panel. You see right now as they go down into 3 and 4, he's got it right here. Jacob Tormund's really struggling around these corners. You're seeing it there, Patrick. He's having to slow down a lot on these corners. And what Nathan Bryant's having to do, though, is check up on that back bumper as they're coming around 1 and 2 here towards the backstretch. You see if he's going to make a move here on 3 and 4. You see Jacob's really having to slow down there.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind, Jacob Tormund did not pit on lap 4. He last pit on lap 14, and Nathan Bryant pit on lap 29. So his tires are about 15 laps fresher, but the only person who has yet to pit on this track is Kaden Tufts rocking around up front. I'm wondering if he's going to try to push all 75 on the same tires, and if that's going to come back to bite him here in the end.
He's definitely a gambling man there. And it's paid off there, Patrick. I call him the average Joe's dodgeball team there, because bold strategies do indeed pay off for Kaden Tufts. And we've seen it. It doesn't matter even if he pit now, Patrick, and goes down a couple laps. We've seen him come back from a couple laps down. We've seen him get lucky dogs. We've seen him get EOL penalties. I mean, everything that you can try to do to put Kaden Tufts down, he has overcome it here in the East Coast Modified Tour. We're looking now. It looks like Edward Marshall is now the race winner, but we're under caution here, I do believe, Patrick.
Yes, we are. We are under caution. I'm going to take a quick peek and see if I see anything odd. If anybody got spun out or turned around here, or what happened to get that going around.
Did see a change in the lead, so I wonder if maybe Kaden Tufts had a problem there at the top. We'll definitely get that 10-4 broadcasting replay revved up for you to see.
All right. Let's see if we can take a little look. I believe it's something to do with the 4 car here. I got a little... Yep, a little bit right there.
Maybe we could get a closer look at that, Patrick, to see which car was that, because from that Goodyear blimp view, it looked like that was the 57 that he got tangled up there once again. Take a look just one more time to see, because it looked like if it was that 57, the 57 may have drifted down the track just a little bit there. Take a look here. Or drifted up the track. Edward Marshall was trying to make a pass on the top side. And that 57 of Jerry Mitchell just seemed to drift up the track. I guess didn't know where Edward was on the track and unfortunately collected him there on the top side.
Man, and then just insult to injury of the 16 car of Newton kind of getting into him too. Man, that is not what you want.
Ugh. No, sir, not indeed, folks. But it looks like we have hit the halfway mark here in the East Coast Modified Tour, and we'll join back up with the boys on the track here in the Stay Tuned Sports 75. We'll go side by side here as we await the green flag dropping, but we're going to go check in with those awesome sponsors here in the East Coast Modified Tour. And we are back here, folks. Green Flag Racing here once again. I'm sorry we had to cut that awesome commercial break short, as Jacob Tormund is now in the lead here. He's leading them down into 3 and 4, right on the inside lane there, holding off, I believe. That is not Kaden Tufts there, folks. He's holding off. Let's see, that's Nathan Bryant up there, Patrick. So a different change of pace right now. You see Kaden Tufts is on the outside lane there, down in the 4th position.
Yeah, and nothing to keep away. Kaden Tufts did decide to go ahead and pit, so he has the fresher tires out of anybody else on the track, which may be a good call. I was saying earlier, he may be a little nervous, but man, right now, Nathan Bryant needs to get out in front. If he's looking to win this race, he's got to pass Tormund, I mean, within the next 3 laps, or otherwise he's going to have a whole lot to deal with Kaden Tufts reeling up the back end here.
I am getting word from race control that last caution was deemed a net code event there, Patrick. So no fault to the 57 there of going up the track just a little bit. It was a net code incident. So that is official word from race control here in the East Coast Modified Tour. But folks, we have a new leader on the track here. It's that 31 of Jacob Tormund. He is the guy that I pull for every week here in the East Coast Modified Tour. Really lays down a lot of awesome laps here on the track. Oh no! But he's really struggling on those corners there, Patrick, having to slow down a lot. And what that's causing is the guy behind him to have to check up. With Jacob running so close to that white line, it's going to make it extremely difficult for anybody to get around him.
Yeah, and man, he's having a row right there. Check up so hard just on the pit, on the turn exit, man. Oh man, if Kaden Tufts, if we've seen him, I think what he's going to do is he's going to kind of set up for this 3 and 4 turn, hang on the outside, and he's going to kind of shoot around. But oh boy, yes, he bites a little bit of that infield there, trying to get around Nathan Bryant. We're not where Nathan Bryant wants to be, but yeah, I'm sure his crew chief is screaming in his ear, maintain, keep calm, as this seems a lot like last week.
As you see, Nathan Bryant and Kaden Tufts were side by side. They're touching wheels. They both held those race cars together. As you see, Kaden Tufts is now up into that 2nd position. Nathan Bryant is in 3rd. Brad Carpenter's got his hands full with Jeff Clifton right there on his back quarter panel as well, Patrick. Right now, the leader is Jacob Tormund, but he's got to know that he's got a lot of speed behind him, but he is running that line that you want to run. Man, running those corners is going to just make it so hard for anybody to get around him, as we're on board now with, I believe this is Kaden Tufts there, Patrick.
Oh yeah, and we're about to find out, because you see Tormund's having a real hard time here in 3 and 4. Man, did you see that nosedive, him having to check up real hard. So yeah, Kaden Tufts having to deal with some traffic here, man, trying to get around him, but yeah, the outside's not working for him there. But here in 3 and 4, this is his money turn. So let's see what he decides to do.
No, you can't. It's virtually impossible to pass on the outside. As he makes a big move to go to the inside of Jacob Tormund there on the exit of 4, he had to squeeze that nose in there. He's going to keep Jacob Tormund on the high side, not going to let him get back down. And with that, Kaden Tufts is going to race him side by side down into 3 and 4. He's keeping Jacob off that top side, and I believe with that, Jacob's going to lose a lot of speed, as Kaden Tufts is now your race leader, but they're still side by side here, down into 1. They're drag racing each other around 1 and 2 right now, heading to the backstretch. Jacob Tormund still trying to hold on to this lead here, side by side, down into 3. Kaden Tufts, Jacob Tormund are side by side racing right now, drag racing around this track here tonight, Patrick. They're still holding on 1, 2 right now, as you see Kaden Tufts is eventually going to overtake right now on 1 and 2, heading towards the backstretch.
Yeah, if there was any time for Nathan Bryant to kick it in overdrive, that would have been it, to try to get a 2-for-1 deal there and roll Jacob Tormund back to the 3rd position. But I don't know if Nathan Bryant's having a little hard time with these tires. You know, Kaden Tufts is running on the newest tires on the track right now, and Jacob Tormund's running on tires on lap 14. So you obviously see a little bit of fall off here, and Nathan Bryant going to have to kind of work his way around him. And might have to take a few pages out of Kaden Tufts' book to get around him here, Will.
Yeah, and the way he was having to check up in those corners there, he keeps trying to run that low side lane there. Nathan Bryant's eventually going to get around him as well as Jeff Clifton. But with that, Patrick, with the line that Jacob Tormund's running, I think Kaden Tufts is going to just be saying yes, like Napoleon Dynamite up there in that cockpit, because he knows that with that line that Jacob's running here tonight, it's going to cause those other 3 cars behind him to have to check up. And Kaden knows with that, that they're not going to be able to get around him. As you see, Jacob Tormund's going to go way high here on X. It's going to give Nathan Bryant that opportunity. He's going to stick that nose right here if he wants to get around him. Just not going to go low enough here on the corner, but he's still there, folks. He's right on that back tire. He's right there. Oh, he had to check up. He went down on the apron just a little bit there, Patrick.
Yeah, Nathan Bryant getting real agitated, not being able to get around him there. What kind of got Tormund out of shape is he kind of kissed it off that back bumper and pushed him up the track. So he's, he's obviously getting a little upset, rolling around here for almost 10, 15 laps behind somebody who's kind of checking up on him. So, yeah, normally this is where Tony Stewart, old smoke out there, this is where you'd say, I'm just going to dump him if he keeps checking up on me. So Nathan Bryant got to keep, a little blink there. Careful. But yeah, got to keep it together. As Jeff Clifton, he may try to work his way around both of them here in a second, because he's got a heck of a run coming up here, Will.
Yeah, as you see right now, they're just trying to get around Jacob Tormund in that 31. Jacob's arguably running his best race of the season right now, folks. But what this is causing... Oh, no, there's contact! Jeff Clifton makes contact with Nathan Bryant there on 4. Sends Nathan right almost into the inside pit wall right there, folks. We might have a caution on the track. We will wait and see if the caution flag does go into the air. And it is, folks. The yellow lights are blinking here at North Wilkesboro. We do have a caution. Jeff Clifton made contact there with Nathan Bryant going around 4. Man, we watched that for quite a few laps there, Patrick. It was a battle between those 3 cars, and Brad Carpenter had a first-person point of view for that.
Really, and yeah, no one, something had to give. Something had to give right there, Will, and it's just the 2 of these guys, well, hard to say the 2 of them, really the 4 of them. Jacob Tormund kind of checks up on him a little bit. Jeff Clifton, like I was saying, gets that great run and touches him right here. Just gets him a little out of shape. Well, Jeff Clifton sees what's happened, hits the brakes, and Brad Carpenter kind of gets right up into Clifton as well, so it's kind of getting that bump, bang, boom here. But yeah, great job by Nathan Bryant actually holding this car. You see him steering into it, kind of like on Cars with Doc Brown here, making that turn and not hitting this pit wall, because he sees that thing coming on fast.
And Patrick, maybe we can take an onboard ride there with Brad Carpenter just for another point of view of that, to kind of watch the action out of his cockpit to see what he was witnessing there. He had a front row seat to that action in front of him, and he was kind of hoping that the both of them would get tangled up. That way he can slide up there. But I was mentioning as we take an onboard ride here. Yeah. There's nothing you can do right there in that situation. Wow, look at the way Nathan Bryant was able to save that race car.
Yeah, that was definitely a close one. That was definitely a close
Patrick. One. But it was the line that Jacob Tormund's run, and it's no bad thing about Jacob Tormund. He just found a line to run here tonight. It's got him up in the 2nd position. He's not running dirty or maliciously in any way. It's just a line he's preferring to run here tonight, and he held the lead for a little while, Patrick. But with his drop of speed there in the corners, as we mentioned here, those drivers behind him are having to check up. You can only really pass on the inside lane here at North Wilkesboro, and it's making it extremely difficult. And you saw it right there. Nathan Bryant, Jeff Clifton were just battling it out there, and there's really nowhere to go.
Yeah, and it's just there is nothing against Tormund the way he's racing. It's frustrating with the guys behind him, when they feel they've got him, but man, he's got the lane, and you have to work around him, and it's really a strategic move to kind of keep everybody behind you where you want them. But something to keep in mind, I believe Brad Carpenter has gone ahead and pit and gotten tires. Miles Morse has tires. Jerry Mitchell and Nathan Bryant has tires. So I believe your back 4 cars have fresh tires from the older guys on in the front. Jacob Tormund still rolling on those tires from lap 14. So yeah, he may be able to hold that line, but now I think, Nathan Bryant's got a lot to prove here. He's back here in the back of the pack again, not where he wants to be. So yeah, you kind of see he's hot and heavy on that on that loud pedal. So we're about to head green here.
But here we go. We're green once again here at the Stay Tuned Sports 75 as Kaden Tufts is going to lead them down into the corner. Got Jacob Tormund in that third one right there. They're 3 wide, folks. Brad Carpenter is 3 wide. He's in the middle. He comes out of that 3 wide sandwich in the third position right there, trying to get around Jeff Clifton. He's down into the 4th position. Jeff Clifton in 3rd. Jacob Tormund in 2nd. Kaden Tufts is leading the way here. This is exactly what Kaden Tufts wants to see out of his rear view mirror, is all this battling going on behind him as he's still leading the way here at North Wilkesboro. Down into 3 and 4. Jeff Clifton is now trying to work on Jacob Tormund once again here, as now you see Nathan Bryant's having to work his way back up through this traffic, trying to get around Jerry Mitchell in that 57, as well as Miles Morris right there in front of him. Patrick, he's got some work to do here with less than 12 laps to go.
Yeah, Nathan Bryant just dealt a whole lot of bad luck this race. You're really having to kind of work around these other cars that have fresh tires as well. As you can see that, I believe that one car, Miles Morris, getting a little loose on the outside, and man, that that's just gonna make Nathan Bryant just absolutely sick to his stomach. He's tired of seeing cars, including himself, spinning out here on this track. But the one man on the move is Brian Carpenter, rolling around and really pushed his way past Jeffrey Clifton here, looking for that 3rd position.
Yeah, Patrick, he's really trying to get around Jeff Clifton here, folks. But as we are still racing here at North Wilkesboro with 10 laps to go, we're going to hear from the sponsors one more time. We're going to go side by side to give you this conclusion here in the East Coast Modified Tour, and we'll be right back. And we are back live here, folks. We were side by side there under commercial. We did see some heavy contact there between Edward Marshall and Miles Morris, but we're still green flag racing here, folks, in North Wilkesboro. We got looks like, Patrick, less than 5 laps to go here.
Yeah, and what a nail biter this is going to become. Kaden Tufts still rocking out here in the front. I mean, absolutely unscathed from most of these wrecks. I mean, he was there in the 5th, 6th position, got fresh tires, and has done nothing but pull away from Brad Carpenter, who's a 2nd behind him.
Here we go, throw up those threes. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt, because we got 3 laps to go here in the Stay Tuned Sports 75. It looks like Kaden Tufts is cruising around here, Patrick. He is trying to dominate the month of June, just like he dominated the month of May. I can't remember a Sunday night that he didn't win in the month of May in this league or in the Virtual Racing Association. As he's still cruising around here, he's going to take that Heat Wave Designs white flag here as he's going to go around 3 and 4 up to the start-finish line here. And that Heat Wave Design white flag is in the air as Kaden Tufts is going to go down into 1. Around 2, Brad Carpenter is hoping, oh man, I just hope he skirts the wall just a little bit, but it doesn't look to be happening here, folks, as he's going around 3 and 4. And Kaden Tufts is your race winner here in the Stay Tuned Sports 75.
Wow, what a run. I mean, Kaden Tufts, I mean, what tough run there. He had everybody really getting him, and Nathan Bryan, he had that thing to the floor. I seriously doubt he was checking up on that one, as he was able to really yank through and pull it up into the 3rd position. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, tough break for Jacob Tormund. Got a little loose there, and then tore up. But man, it just, he fell back there to the 4th position. I thought he was definitely gonna have a podium here tonight.
Wow. Kaden Tufts wins again here in the East Coast Modified Tour. burning it down with 2 races to go here in this series. He has all but won the championship here. Brad Carpenter comes home second, Nathan Bryant in third, Jacob Tormund in fourth, Jerry Mitchell in fifth, Jeff Clifton down in the 6th position, Miles Morris is in the 7th, Edward Marshall in 8th, Michael Newton in 9th, Ken Zeems is in 10th, and Evan Burke was a DNS, did not start there in the 11th position as Kaden Tufts is taking his victory lap around the track here at North Wilkesboro. Man, this guy is impressive.
Yeah. His consistency, not just, top 3 or not just top 5, but consistently winning. I mean, he is there all the time, every time with these guys. Here you go. There's your top 3 right there. They're right there at the start-finish line. I love that.
Man, we usually interview these drivers after the races here, Patrick, but it seems like the questions that we ask Kaden get a little repetitive because we talk to him so much up here in the booth. And whether it's him finishing at the top of the grid or finishing the top 3, I don't think there's ever been a race. We have another driver that we call in the high octane sim series in the stock cars, Matthew Badby, who's the same way. I don't think I can ever remember a time that Kaden Tufts didn't finish in the top 3 at all here in this series or in the Virtual Racing Association. I know at the road course, Daniel Rowe won that, but I think Kaden Tufts finished in the top 3 in that. I don't think I remember a race that we've called that he didn't finish top 3.
Yeah, it's just so difficult to stay that consistent that long and put that many in the winner's circle. I mean, it's I think people are going to start questioning how he's doing this. I mean, just he does it so well and so frequently. I'm baffled at this point. So I got to ask him, what he's pouring into the tank of this car.
A little high octane, if you will. But he is holding on, Patrick. He had to work for it here tonight. We had multiple lead changes here tonight. We had some battles going on up there. He had some battles ensuing behind him as well. So the pressure was definitely on him tonight. And from lap 1 to lap 75, even in that first heat, everybody was on edge here tonight. You could tell that everybody wanted to win this here tonight, Patrick. But I believe you are catching up with our 3rd place finisher, Nathan Bryant, and Nathan gave it his all tonight in what I'm going to call the most competitive race we've seen so far here in the East Coast Modified Tour. Nathan, you were joined up here in the booth here with William Tiller and Patrick Morrison. And Nathan, what a race.
Yes, what a race it was.
You don't sound very enthused, and I know how you feel, man. I mean, you got caught up in a couple of them, and I saw you got spun out that one time. I know you kind of got going through your head, maintain, be nice and calm, take it one lap at a time. But man, it seems no matter where you were, it was nothing but trouble happening around you.
Oh, 100%. I don't know. I'm gonna look back on the first incident. I mean, I don't know what else a lap car could do, but I mean, you got cars on the lead lap going by, and I mean, the track's tight coming out of that turn. So there was my first fast repair, and then I didn't think Jeff had any ill will or meant to spin me, and it could have been a little bit of netcode. So I mean, I don't know. Overall, it was just a lot of going up front, getting knocked back down, going up front, getting knocked back down. It was just starting to get annoying as shit.
Yeah, I understand, and figure. Did you end up taking tires on lap 60? Because man, you started picking up a lot of speed there toward the end, and marching back up from really in the very very back of the pack. You were getting jammed up, but you did march up front really really fast.
Yeah, I figured since I mean how my race went to begin with, I was figuring I was just gonna end up in the back again, so might as well just take tires. Who cares? And obviously we came home with a third. I'm gonna rewatch and see if I just drove it in too hard and hit Jacob, but I tried to save it and not take us both out. But yeah. We saw you got real close to Jacob Tormund, and we got real close and kind of took along with Carpenter there. That was behind because he got in the back of Jeff Clifton as well. But you got real close right there, and then within inches. And I think you guys just touched. I don't think he expected you to check up as much as you had to.
like I said, it didn't seem like it was really anybody's fault at that point. Everybody kind of, I noticed, that was having some trouble getting around Jacob Tormund there, but still a third place finish, bud. I mean, it's still a great run. I know you want more. I've had eyeballs on you, for the past couple weeks trying to get you to hopefully see you push forward here. And you were out front at one point. The key was just kind of staying with Kaden Tufts there as he worked his way around the front. I mean, is there anything else you could have done? I mean, other than just sheer bad luck at this point?
I don't know. I mean, Caden's always got a fast car. I don't know if I would have had the speed to beat him. But I don't know. We'll go into next week. I mean, at this point, anything better than third or second's good. So
Yeah, I understand, but it's just it's a heartbreaking deal. You still placed podium, but it's glad to have you back up here in the booth, and I love hearing you up here, but I'm ready to see you in winner circle just as much as you are. So we're gonna go ahead and end on that, and go ahead and give us some shout outs, bud, and we'll let you get back to the drawing board.
yeah, I got to thank all those sponsors in real life and virtually here at Thermal Foams, Bison Scaffold, Hain Supply, McConey Setup Shop, Skyworks, Don's Welding, Buffalo Concrete, Double Clutch, Don Adams Zach for the paint schemes, my girlfriend, anybody watching, and obviously you guys for putting it on.
All right, appreciate it, bud, and I believe we will see you next week. I believe. What do we got here?
Maybe Tuesday for the VRA, not sure.
Okay,
Sir,
yeah.
we'll see you Tuesday night. Can't wait to see you in that, and as well as back here on Sunday night. We're wrapping up the season here in the East Coast Modified Tour, but still got a few more races to go in the VRA League as well. But Nathan, what a race here tonight, man. It was definitely a battle, and we appreciate you taking the time with us.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, maybe I'll just start to use my bumper a little bit more.
Yeah, boy, I like that feeling. Yeah, it might be what you have to do, bud. Give people a little nudge and let them know you're there.
Sounds good. Have a good night, guys.
Take it easy, bud.
Me too. Yeah, it's to that point now, Patrick, is where these guys they just want to win. They just want to cross the finish line first. And tonight's action really showed from lap 1 until 75 that these guys came out here tonight. They've been practicing for over an hour and a half. Some guys were in the lobby at around 6 o'clock. So these guys were really trying hard tonight, and you heard it out of Nathan Bryant's voice here that he just wants to win. And whether or not he's going to do a little bit more pushing to get the job done, that might be the way to have to get that victory out of the way here. But we are catching up with our second place finisher, a guy that we haven't got to speak with here a lot yet here in the East Coast Modified Tour. Definitely runs strong, whether it's in the heat races or during the races, but gets tied up in unfortunate events. But tonight, Brad, you come home with a second place finish, man. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I was pretty skeptical in the middle of the race of things going on, or at the beginning anyway. So it worked out, though.
Yeah, man, kind of take us through what you thought about tonight's race here at North Wilkesboro. For us up here in the booth, it just kind of felt like whether it was in the heat race to start things off or in the main event there, everybody was just kind of racing on edge. They just wanted to get across that start-finish line first.
The car didn't feel real consistent. So the first time I went in, I took tires. I don't think it was any faster. And then at the end, when I took 2 tires on the outside, it was a day and night difference compared to everybody else. So I don't know. It felt better at the very end of the race than it did in the middle of the race.
Yeah, it was a wild race for sure. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you about here, towards the end of that race, you saw contact right in front of you between Nathan Bryant and Jeff Clifton. Were you kind of nervous when that happened, or did you see an opportunity to get around those guys? And it looked like Jeff was able to just roll off of that. Did you start to see that battle ensuing in front of you, and you're like, oh man, this is my opportunity to get up to Kaden?
I looked at it like those two are going to get together because Kaden was getting loose and he'd hit the down low. He'd hit the what am I trying to say? The rub strips.
Right.
And I was waiting for that to happen because he was pushing it pretty hard. And on something like that, I just try to sit back. But problem with that is it also kills you because the other guy behind you will get around you without getting touched or something. But I was just sitting back watching and going, oh, this isn't going to be good. But I don't think Clifton got into him. He just got loose.
Yeah, yeah. It was that type of race here. North Wilkesboro is that vintage track that everybody loves to race, but it just seemed like tonight everybody was just kind of fighting the track a little bit. The cars were really loose. We saw some guys coming out of four with a lot of speed brushing up against that wall, and you come out with a second place finish here tonight. I can hear the enthusiasm in your voice of getting a podium finish finally here in the East Coast Modified Tour. With only a couple races left, how do you take this confidence into next week and closing out the season here?
Well, I don't go into any race thinking I can't win.
Right.
Catching Kaden, had I not taken those 2 tires, he was good. But I think if at the end of the race, if I would have had 3 laps, I could have caught him. But again, catching him and passing him are 2 different things. So,
Right.
No, it's, I don't know. I don't go into a race don't think I can win. So, the other part of it is I'm probably old enough to be all these guys' dad, but that's pretty funny. So it's all good.
Well, yeah. We see that a lot here in iRacing and a few of the leagues that we call. Some of you guys have more iRacing experience than some of these kids are alive, but these kids come on to the simulator and they just, I mean, just to use a lack of a better term, they dominate. I mean, it's crazy to see, some of these kids prefer to play a game like this than playing a Fortnite or Call of Duty or something like that. They come and do a simulation game and they outrun grown men. I mean, so it's a crazy thing to see.
Yeah, it is. They're quicker. I mean, when you get older, you get slower. So that's just part of it.
Right. Well, Brad, you come home second here tonight. We only got a couple races left here in the East Coast Modified Tour. How you feeling here the rest of the season? And do you think you can finally get that win here to close the season out?
Depends. I don't even know. Do you know where we're at next week?
Yeah, let me check that for you just real quick here. I believe
I'll tell you yes or no.
Yeah, right. You gotta hear the track.
There's tracks that I know I'm good at. There's tracks that.
Myrtle Beach.
I like Myrtle Beach. I'm good there. So we'll see. Caden's just pretty tough. He's just a younger kid, and he's always been good. I raced a couple other leagues against him.
Yeah, he is definitely a tough racer for sure. We tried to get him in a stock car, but I guess he does real life racing on Friday nights. So he has a lot of experience on and off the track. I believe his dad is a late model champion as well. So definitely it's a family affair there for the tough household. But tonight, Brad, you come home in the second position. And with that, you finally get your opportunity to shout out any sponsors you have on that race car and anybody that you have watching at home.
Bob's Pet and Pawn, that's my dad. He used to sponsor me when I used to race. And Mark Logan, and thanks Evan and those guys for putting this league on. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a blast for us as well, Brad. And you're definitely a guy that we cheer for here up in the booth. There's a few names. Jacob Tormund's one of them. Miles Morris is one of them. You guys just come in, week out, run consistently, lay down those hot laps. Maybe on paper, it doesn't show that you guys have had a heck of a season, but definitely in our minds and in our books, you've had one heck of a season there, Brad. And congratulations on your second place finish here.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
You as well. That was Brad Carpenter there, Patrick. Man, just one of those drivers, like I just mentioned there, just gives it his all every week, and finally he gets the results to show it off.
Yeah, man, what a handful he had tonight. Behind Jeff Clifton in that little scuffle, he got in another one, I think, back there with the 4-car, I think, at Edward Marshall. And just, man, he right place, right time, and then was, took the 2 tires. And like you said, good to know. And some of the other guys might want to take note is, he took 2 tires and it was a totally different vehicle. So it might be an idea, for upcoming races to what other strategies to do. But, Kaden Tufts really is the man to beat here. And I don't know what track he's not good at this point, as I believe we are almost caught up with him.
I believe so, Patrick. I believe he is down in Victory Lane celebrating once again our favorite Canadian, the one and only, the dominator in the modifieds in this league, in the Virtual Racing Association. This is not a Denzel Washington movie. This is not deja vu. We are once again joined by the champion of the Stay Tuned Sports 75, Mr. Kaden Tufts.
What's up?
I think this time we're going to let you talk.
Oh no, I don't know what to say.
Well, we're running out of things to say here, bud. I mean, every time we seem to come to one of these tracks, this is where I find you. Yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah, man.
what was the secret to winning tonight?
I think it was more just keeping it consistent on the tires and all that, which I kind of struggled to do in the first half, but once when I got behind other cars, I kind of figured it out a little more, and then we had to put up with Brad. He was flying at the end there. I think he only took 2. He was definitely flying. I think if you gave him another 3 laps or so, he would have been flying by me. So luckily we were able to hold him off.
Yeah, Caden, I was going to ask you there. This race, it seemed like from lap 1 to 75, and even in the heat race, everybody was on edge. It just seemed like the pressure was on everybody here tonight. We only have a few races left. Did you sort of feel that pressure mounting in tonight's race, and people were racing with a little bit more tension throughout?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure now coming down to the final wire in the series. I got to worry about Nathan. There's Jeff. There's a whole bunch of other guys that are in that points battle for that championship. But hopefully we can keep pulling the wins off and end up with the championship.
Man, Caden, I was trying to look up how many races you won in the month of May between this league and the Virtual Racing Association. I couldn't find that statistic, but I know it was almost every weekend that you were winning, and now we're in the month of June. You're winning once again. I think I ask you this question every time, but what is it about your driving ability? Because tonight, I would have to say you definitely had to work for it. As you just mentioned, it was a lot more high tension. The pressure was a lot on those guys, a lot more. You had big runs out of Jeff Clifton was up there. You said Nathan Bryant was up there as well. Like you said, Jacob Tormund up in the lead, running kind of a unique line where he was checking up in the corners, trying to hold you back there a little bit. What is it that your driving ability and your skills really come week in and week out that allows you to win these races?
There's a lot of leagues I run in. All different drivers, all different driving styles. Lots of practice. Run multiple laps on this track. Actually, I've been running laps on it since it came out, so that definitely has a huge factor, especially on the line part. I think it's really just patience. That's all you really need, just patience to get around someone, wait for them to either nudge up or like make a little mistake or something like that, and then you can just sneak by them.
Yeah, it seemed like tonight the only place that you could really pass here at North Wilkesboro was on that bottom side lane there. Did you sort of feel the same? Because you had to work around some of that traffic there to get back up into the lead. Did you feel like that the inside lane was the only lane that you could pass here tonight?
No, most of my passing was around the top side, but I did use that bottom lane, I think, to get by Jacob. I did use the top, though, a lot, too. That's my preferred line in turn 1 and 2, going through the top and then bottom through 3 and 4. It's more like a Darlington type thing. Or a Darlington and then a Martinsville. That's what I would refer it to. But yeah, usually the line I was running to get around everyone was the top to get that little... you lose a little entering the corner, but then you get that huge run out, which is a huge help.
And before I pass it over to my co-host, Patrick Morrison, before he has a question for you, I just got a kind of a bland, quick question for you, Caden. Does winning ever get old?
No, that will never get old.
Oh, man. Go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah, I was going to say, you talk about that taking that high line. I did say you bite that apron a couple of times, kind of hop that curb with the in the grass a little bit. I mean, did you think you were going to spin out, or is that where you wanted to be, or you know, what in the world was going on there? It was unusual for you.
So I don't really usually mean to hit the curb. I mean, that's probably the worst thing you could do through that corner is either hit that curb and spin out or hit that curb and go straight to the wall. But luckily our car wanted to be nice to us today and keep it straight. So, I mean, the curb didn't really have much of an effect on me. I just tried my hardest to keep off it because I know it would eventually do something. So, yeah.
Man, yeah. Well, we saw you hit that curb. That left front tire came off the ground. So I figured you puckered a little bit. You know, only 3-wheeling it through some of those turns. So I knew you were probably getting pretty antsy and wanting to get back out front and not getting tangled up in some of that mess that was going on in the back.
Yeah, I was definitely in a rush to get back to the front. I didn't want to be caught up in anything. I know I've been in the back a couple times and trying to make my way up. I've been caught up in a few incidents, but luckily we were able to do it pretty cleanly here.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
see Nathan Bryant was with you in the chat here tonight, and you seem to bring him along here with a podium finish again tonight. But the other people that you brought with you are your sponsors. I'll go ahead and give you a chance to give them a shout out.
Yeah, I'd first off like to thank my real life sponsors, which is LBT Pallets, Bradwater Mortgages, Geisberg Transfer, Timberley Beverage Room, and then the iRacing side, I got JDM Broadcasting, known as JDM TV now, TJ George Esports, Factory S Motorsports, ARD HVAC, and I mean, you guys for putting this on.
Yeah, Kaden, and before we let you go here, back to celebrating here at North Wilkesboro, I was just going to sneak in another quick question for you here. We got 2 races left here in the East Coast Modified Tour. I think at this point you may have won the championship. Looking at Jeff there, he's looking like he's a little upset about tonight's result. But with that being said, how can you continue this momentum throughout these last 2 weeks? And you also race in the Virtual Racing Association. You think you can keep this winning streak going through the month of June?
I mean, I don't really know if I can or not, but just got to hope for the best. I mean, there's a lot of stiff competition throughout both the leagues, so we'll just see what happens, how it all plays out, and however it plays out, it happens.
Man, Caden, I think we've said it a bunch of times up here in the booth. I've had Patrick Morrison up here with me. I've had Mike Maddox, a former employee here at 10-4 Broadcasting. I've had Tim Hammond up here as well. All of them have got to witness the incredible racing that you do week in and week out here in the modifieds. And I tried to get you in a stock car, but I guess that's the day that you do your real life racing. So we couldn't get you in one of those just yet. But I think we're running out of adjectives to describe what you do here in the modifieds, whether it's in this league or the league on Tuesday nights. TJ George Esports was wise to swoop in and sponsor you as well. Because, man, you are impressive week in and week out, and it has definitely been a joy calling your races here thus far.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens in the real life world. Maybe if the dates get switched or something, or if a race is rained out, maybe I'll hop in for a couple races or 2.
Yeah, definitely. Patrick, look at that. We might have a stock car driver in our stable.
All right, sounds good.
Alrighty, Caden. Well, we'll let you get back to celebrating there. Big congratulations on tonight's victory here in the Stay Tuned Sports 75, and we look forward to seeing what you have in store for Tuesday night as well as next week here when we pick back up with you guys at Myrtle Beach.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Of course. That was Kaden Tufts, once again the race winner here in the East Coast Modified Tour there, ladies and gentlemen. And Patrick, I mean, what I said is true. We are literally running out of adjectives to describe his driving ability.
Yeah, it's it's hard to continue talking about it because it's, Kaden Tufts win. I mean, it's just every week, and it's really becoming something where, I wonder if some of the other drivers, they love racing with him, but they'd like him to sit out a couple of these just to get a good shot up front.
Yeah, well, a few guys did have an opportunity here tonight, Patrick. Nathan Bryant was up there. Jeff Clifton was up there. Jacob Tormund actually led some laps here in tonight's event as well. Brad Carpenter did an excellent job here tonight as well, finishing up in the 2nd position. But, man, as you said, I think these drivers are just getting a little bit like, man, I just want to win one race. And it's sort of like me when I was playing competitive Madden back in the day. You just want to win one tournament. You're tired of showing up, getting beat, getting eliminated, and not having anything to show for it. And in this series, it's really Kaden Tufts' show here. And, man, I'm almost at a loss for words of what he does week in and week out here in this league.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he does here at on the Florida race there. I just don't know. I mean, do you think he could do another win at that track?
The way he's been racing or raced here in the month of May, now we're into June, I wouldn't bet against him. I would say he's the clear favorite in any race that he's racing in here in the modifieds, just from pure consistency. And it's not just him getting out to the lead and winning he's won by big margins. He's won by milliseconds. He's had to come back from multiple laps down. He's got caught up in instances where he had damage and had to work his way back up to the field. tonight everybody was racing like they wanted to knock him off the top of the grid, and you could tell, Patrick, from lap 1 to 75 that everybody was on, just tension was built up. We have some things in the chat that are being said. I mean, everything was just on a like very edgy level here tonight. And once again, it was still Kaden Tufts' victory here in the Stay Tuned Sports 75. So, I mean, and if I had to put money on it, if we could gamble on this, Patrick, I would lay the house on Kaden Tufts week in and week out.
Yeah, and it's really going to come down to the wire. You know, what is it, or what concoction of a strategy you have to really kind of, you know, put Kaden Tufts on the back foot here. I mean, you try to take tires, you try to, you know, out-pit strategize him, and he still was able to get around, you know, 90% of the field and then end up back up front. I mean, it's just, I'm at a loss for words. I am not quite sure what it's going to take to slow Kaden Tufts down, other than race control adding weight to his car, you know, or tell him he can't qualify and he needs to start from the back, you know, and things like that. But, you know, that showed us tonight. He was toward the back of the field, starting in 6th on that restart, and then right back up to the front after 15 laps. So, he has the handling, he's got the experience. It's just I don't have a word for you or any idea of how to slow him down at this point, Will.
Not at all, Patrick. But again, another impressive performance out of Kaden Tufts here in the East Coast Modified Tour. But none of this action wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the wonderful sponsors here in this league, starting off with Martin Sports Apparel. They're your one-stop shop for all your sim racing and sports apparel needs. Check out their wide variety of sim gloves, hats, t-shirts, and hoodies. And Patrick, they also do custom work over there. So if you wanted to get a custom jersey with your team name on it, maybe a championship jersey for Kaden Tufts here in the East Coast Modified Tour, go check them out on martinsports906.com, as well as their Discord page. We jumped to tonight's title sponsor here in tonight's event, the boys over at Stay Tuned Sports Podcast. Got to go join Jimbo and everybody as they tackle everything from football to baseball, basketball to hockey, MMA, and even soccer. And right now, Patrick, you got World Cup qualifiers that are taking place. You got the NBA Finals going on. You got hockey that's about to get to the Stanley Cup Finals there. You got the Colorado Avalanche. It looks like they're going to be in it. You got Tampa Bay Lightning that are barely hanging on. Big UFC fights going on. You just had the Indy 500 to the Coca-Cola 600, so a lot of awesome topics that they're going to be covering over at Stay Tuned Sports Podcast, as well as our new partners here at 10-4 Broadcasting. That's the wonderful people over at AdminBoxx. AdminBoxx creates a race control and admin device used for all your needs. You can have it custom built for whatever you need, throwing yellow flags, black flags, EOLs. It's a lit-up device, USB plug-and-play. That is an awesome company over there. If you want more questions about how the AdminBoxx works, go check out their website at AdminBoxx. That's 2x's.com, or go head over to their Discord page as well. And if you are interested in purchasing one here, we do have a coupon code in the description of the YouTube video here at 10-4-box. Go check them out today here, Patrick. And what a race it was once again here in the East Coast Modified Tour. It again is Kaden Tufts winning it here tonight, Patrick, and I don't think there can be much said about this, but some of these drivers we'll see Tuesday nights, so we'll see if that tension carries on to next week.
Yeah, and I just say you gotta get annoyed staring at his rear bumper, but you know I'm really hoping Tuesday nights these guys will be able to run him down next Sunday as well, being able to try to get Kaden Tufts off his game. So. Yeah, it's definitely going to be something to beat here, Will.
Yes, sir. And if you like the broadcast here tonight at 10-4 Broadcasting, we invite you to go check us out on Facebook as well as YouTube. We'll be back up in the booth here on Thursday night, bringing you action out of the International Racing League, as well as the High Octane Sim Series Money Race on Friday as well. Patrick will pick up with some of these drivers here in the East Coast Tour Modifieds as we're running the late model series on Friday nights, and that league is run by Jeff Clifton, who we saw kind of have a difficult night here tonight, so hopefully he's able to gather up the marbles for Friday night's action there, 'cause that race has been super competitive from what I saw there on Friday night. I always peek in during our High Octane Sim Series broadcast to watch some of that race there, Patrick, but Cannot wait for the rest of the week here at 10-4 Broadcasting. Tonight here in the Stay Tuned Sports 75, it is Kaden Tufts' win once again. But for all of us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, myself, William Tiller, Patrick Morrison, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. We want to thank all those wonderful sponsors here in the East Coast Modified Tour. And we'll see everybody on the track soon.